Hello everybody, welcome to Enzuigiri, the show where we talk about hypothetical wrestling matches or matches that have almost zero probability of happening. I'm Maverick, along with my co-hosts Maximus and El Uno. Today we'll be debating Tito Santana versus Austin Aries. Maximus?
Tail of the tape. We got Austin Aries. He weighs in this morning at 210 pounds. Companies he's worked for: Total Nonstop Action Wrestling, as well as Ring of Honor and Dragon Gate USA. 12-time champion, longest notable achievements, longest reigning X Division champion history, sent a tweet in an X Division title defense. Known rivalries include the Warrior Senshi, Alex Shelley, Bryan Danielson, Jimmy Jacobs. Tito Santana, 234 pounds, companies work for: World Wrestling Federation, Eastern Championship Wrestling, World Championship Wrestling, and American Wrestling Federation. 15-time champion, WWE Hall of Famer. Known rivalries include Don Morocco, Greg the Hammer Valentine, Rick Martel. Notable achievements: he appeared in the first 9 WrestleManias, won the first ever Mania match. He's the WWF Tag Team Champion and Intercontinental Champion. El Uno?
I'll be defending Austin Aries. I believe this guy would have the upper hand in this match. Just let alone just being a dangerous combination of a technique on the mat and athleticism.
I'll be defending Tito Santana, and I'm going to say Tito Santana's got the upper hand, I think, because he's bigger and he's stronger than Austin Aries. So, I mean, he's got him beat in terms of weight, in terms of strength. Let's not even get into the moves that Santana's got in his repertoire. That might be more than a match for what Aries can handle.
Look, Maverick. I'm going to tell you this straight, man. I have a lot of respect for Tito Santana. I've seen him in action myself a couple of times, and there's no doubt he's a good wrestler. He's a good worker, and he's held multiple titles in his career. I look at Austin Aries, and this guy has a lot of good shit on his resume. A lot of good shit on his resume. He was the top dog he was the top dog twice in ROH and at the X Division in TNA. Nobody's beaten him yet for the title. He's the longest X Division champion, and in the X Division, nobody's beaten him for the title yet. So Austin Aries got this.
I will say I'm agreeing with El Uno over here. I have tremendous respect for Tito Santana. The main reason being, he was really, really beneficial in the formative years of my favorite company in the world, Extreme Championship Wrestling, back when it was still Eastern Championship Wrestling. He's still wrestling today, sporadically on the independent circuit, but I will say I definitely think Austin Aries has the upper hand because not only is he powerful, but he is extremely quick. He's very cocky, and he's just a great talent all around in the ring.
Yeah, I will concede that Aries is a great talent all around in the ring, but Tito Santana can hold his own too. Let's not count out Santana. Yeah, okay, he's been a jobber for most of his career. I mean, when he was in the big leagues anyway. I don't know what he's doing now in the independent circuit. I haven't really gotten to see much of what he's been up to lately, but I mean, he had some good stuff. He was an Intercontinental Champion once upon a time. That actually takes a lot to get that far. And usually, if you can reach the Intercontinental Championship in the WWF, now called the WWE, that's the springboard to what leads you into the Heavyweight Championship of singles competition, the World Heavyweight Championship. Now, I guess, would be the Raw Championship, and then there's the SmackDown, formerly WCW Championship. Nevertheless, I think that having been a multiple-time champion and having been around for a while, Santana's got it. Santana's a wily veteran. He's got a few tricks up his sleeve. He's been around. He's seen things. Dude. He was around back during the golden age of wrestling in the 80s when it was just huge. There was this boom. And Vincent Kennedy McMahon Jr., I think it is, revolutionized the sport into what we see it is today.
The golden age when everyone was using steroids.
One thing I see here, there's a roughly 25-pound difference between Tito Santana and Austin Aries. Tito Santana being slightly larger and slightly heavier. Do you think that, despite the fact that Austin Aries is one quick sumbitch, that Tito Santana's size advantage would gain him the upper hand?
Yeah, Austin Aries may be quick, but eventually he's going to slow down. That speed's only going to carry him so far. And when he slows down, that's when Big Tito's going to get a hold of him, and that's when Tito's strength is going to become an advantage, and he's just going to really take the fight to Aries at that point.
What do you say to that?
Let me give you a small unrelated story here. We all know about this one guy. He's called Samoa Joe. We know how big he is. We know in ROH he dominated as world heavyweight champion for 21 months. That's the longest anybody has ever.
That's almost 2 entire years.
Yeah, that's the longest anyone has ever held a championship. And we all know back in December of 2004, that title reign was ended. You know who ended that title? You know who ended that reign? Yes, Austin Aries. Yes, we all know Joe was a big guy. He was. But
lightning quick.
Yeah,
he moved quick for a big guy, though. I was about to point that out.
Oh, yeah.
He's like Bam Bam Bigelow mixed with Evan Bourne. He's the power, and maybe not the size, but the power of huge powerhouses like Bam Bam and the Big Show with high flying. I mean, I've seen this guy springboard off the ropes, go off the top rope. He likes, Samoa Joe loves to use a running backslide or backslide.
Okay. Going back to the subject here. That match proves that Austin Aries can handle himself outside his weight class.
Definitely,
True.
I think he can.
True, but I'll point out also that while Santana might be bigger and a little slower than Aries is, Santana himself is also a technical wrestler. Maybe not one of the better ones out there, but Santana's a pretty good mat technician. I think Aries would definitely have his work cut out for him in this match.
Yes, but
I have a question to put towards you, El Uno. Do you think that if Tito Santana can somehow keep Austin Aries grounded on the mat with actually mat wrestling, do you think that he will gain the upper hand, seeing as Austin Aries likes to fly?
No, Austin Aries does use a couple of high-flying moves off the top rope, but Austin Aries is not really a high flyer. He's of course, one of his finishing move is the 450 splash, which is a common finisher with high flyers. Common, yes. Effective, hell yes. But like, but Austin Aries is a better mat tactician, if anything. Is not. I believe here that Austin Aries can out wrestle Tito Santana.
There's another thing too. Austin Aries is really good at getting inside the minds of his opponents. Yeah, he did that when he actually, his most recent X Division title reign, which is the one as long as reigning, he defeated the Brian Kendrick to win the title. And for that entire match, man, Austin Aries was screwing with Brian Kendrick's brain. So I think if Austin Aries can get inside Tito's head, he's very cocky and he'll show off, and Austin Aries is going to be like, damn, I can't keep up. You think?
Well, I mean, Santana wasn't really much for showing off. That's why he was known as a jobber. To him, he just went in there, he did his job, and he took off. That was the whole idea. You know, he wasn't trying to put on a show, he was just trying to do his job. And that was be a pro wrestler. Occasionally win a few matches, although admittedly he lost quite a few in his career, but you know, they did well for themselves, I think. And that's just where it was.
Do you think Tito Santana functioned better in a tag team environment or in a singles environment?
I think Santana functioned much better as a tag team, most notably. And it's the feud that I remember because I remember actually watching this particular tag team break up. When he was in a tag team with the model Rick Martel, they were known as Strike Force. Mm-hmm. They did have the tag team championships on at least one occasion that I know.
I believe they captured the WWF tag team champions, did they not?
They did, yes.
Well, I will tell you one thing. Austin Aries has one thing in common with Tito Santana.
What would that be?
He was a tag team champ himself, was he not?
Yes, he was. He won the ROH World Tag Team Champions with Roderick Strong, and Austin Aries, he had a lot of tag team partners, and
he was
one thing you've always had trouble with was sticking with a tag team with a tag team. With a partner, and
Generation Next.
Yeah, we all know how that ended.
Well, the model wasn't Santana's only tag team partner either.
But yeah, but Austin Aries, he's a single guy, and like, well, okay, we're talking about one-on-one here. Austin Aries has got.
I do think Austin Aries probably functions a little bit better as a lone gun than Tito Santana probably does.
Well, Santana can hold his own, but I think Santana did do better in a tag team environment. Overall, though, like I said, I think when it comes down to it, Santana, while he may lose the match, will definitely give Aries a run for his money. I mean, it's going to be difficult for Aries to get the win, but no doubt Santana will definitely let Aries know he was in a fight if Aries should manage to win. Though, I gotta say, I think Santana's going to have the upper hand. If Santana can keep Aries grounded, that tends to be a big weakness for flyers. You just admitted yourself, Aries is a flyer. If Santana can keep Aries grounded...
But the thing is, Aries can wrestle and fly.
I didn't say Aries is a high flyer. I said he's more of a mat technician, if anything.
Yeah, but he uses the 450 splash. That's how he can move for flyers.
So he can fly. That means he's more versatile.
There's look, Kurt Angle's not a high flyer, and he can do a moonsault really good.
Yeah, Kurt Angle's not, as you pointed out, he's not a high flyer. But anyway, the point remains...
Kurt Angle's also an Olympic gold medalist, so let's leave him out of it.
I've seen Aries in action as well. I can safely say that Aries is a flyer and can be a flyer when he needs to be.
Yes, he can be a flyer, but he sticks more to the ground.
Normally, I would say if you can keep him grounded, that would give him the upper hand, but... Aries is also a technician, so I think
overall, there is a reason Austin Aries calls himself the greatest human that ever lived.
He might be the greatest
man that ever lived.
He might be the greatest man that ever lived, and even to coin a phrase he himself used, the greatest manager who ever lived.
I'll give you an example.
But he's not perfect. That's another story for later.
I'll give you an example of Austin Aries mat wrestling. He took down. When he won the X Division title this most recent time, he took down the Brian Kendrick, and I believe he did about 8 or 9 rotations afterwards. Did he not?
Hey, you knew what he does. I'd show off too.
Yeah? He was doing rotations just with his arm, and I'm just sitting there. I'm like, So I think that
Austin Aries is also entertaining.
He's very entertaining, and that's another thing where I think that he has the upper hand. He can please the fans. He puts on a hell of a show.
Well, so can Santana. That's the whole reason why he got booked as being the first match in WrestleMania history. Because McMahon knew that Santana, who was a great performer, would give a quality performance, which is something that WrestleMania is all about. That's why it's the granddaddy of all pay-per-views. It's like the Super Bowl of wrestling.
But then again, that everything that Vince McMahon touches that doesn't belong to him dies.
Yeah, well... We're not getting into his failed attempt at reviving ECW.
Don't even mention that to me.
And besides, like you said earlier, Tito Santana was an ECW original before they started calling themselves ECW originals.
Okay, I've seen Tito Santana in action. I had the opportunity to see Austin Aries live, and this was a pay-per-view match, and I would have to say that match was pay-per-view caliber. Because that match alone made me an Austin Aries fan.
Yeah. You know, it's often times where I'm watching wrestling and I often like the heels a lot because they're really good at showing what they can do. Austin Aries is more of a heel than a face. He's more a heel. He's been a heel more times than a face, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And
it's got sometimes, yeah.
Regardless of whatever, I may hate the guy's guts at the time. But that guy can wrestle, and that guy is entertaining. He's funny as hell. He's just all around. He pleases the fans, and he's very fun to watch. And it's people like that, even though they are heels, that I enjoy watching just to see the hysterics of it.
Oh yeah, you'll watch an Austin Aries match sometime, and even he's supposed to be a heel, the crowd will just cheer him regardless.
And you think Santana can't be entertaining? He was also known as El Matador back in the gimmicky era of wrestling in the early 90s. So he can entertain the fans too. Granted, I'm probably nowhere near as well as Aries can, but he can entertain the fans as well.
Probably wasn't one of the greatest.
I would probably say if you were entertained by Tito Santana Matador, then it was probably easier to entertain the crowd back then.
All things considered.
Well, the crowds back then, they allowed beer in the arena, so most of the time they were drunk.
Oh, sure, play into that fact. But yeah, there we go. So,
Yeah.
Again, I gotta say, Santana's got it. He's stronger, he's faster, or not faster, he's bigger. I mean, size can have an advantage. Aries may be quick, but eventually Aries will slow down, and when that happens, Santana's got him.
Well,
I gotta say.
I think we're going to have to call it a stop here. Both of you guys made your arguments very, very well. So leave us your thoughts on who you know would win, and we'll see you next time.